everybody, and welcome to the World of Micah. I have been coming to Universal Studios Florida since I was a little kid. And let me tell you, when you're a kid, I said this on my last video, when you're a kid and you can't really remember what was like a fever dream or something in your imagination or was real, well, theme parks have that kind of history. And we're gonna be going into some weird history here today at Universal Studios Florida. And this history is gonna be meet and greets, old shows, old attractions, old experiences here at Universal Studios Florida. And you're gonna get to tag along now. Let's take a closer look. Dude, Hulk Hogan, you're following me around everywhere.
Well, I gotta tell you something, brother. I'm here at Universal Studios Florida too, not just Disney.
He really does have Hulkamania running wild all over. And if you want to get in some nitty gritty weird stuff, when this place opened in June of 1990, all this was a parking lot. City Walk wasn't a thing yet. But more history on that later on. In a different episode, I should say. All right, let's head inside Universal Studios Florida. Talk about some history. Looks like they've got the front facade for VillainCon. Looks completely different than it was Shrek and before that, Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies. But we're gonna head straight ahead over by the NBC Tonight Shop gift shop. Because back in the day, there used to be a place here called the Boneyard. That's right, you come to a studios, you should be able to see some props from some films, and they had some amazing props out here in the Florida elements for everyone and all to see. And about where I'm standing is where this was. You can see some dinosaurs. I believe those were from the Flintstones. It's pretty cool, right? And see the sound stages in the background. This is them now. The Monster Cafe, which is being transformed into something else right now, was still in the facade of a soundstage. You can see there, right underneath the, I believe that's a brontosaurus. But the Boneyard is no longer here. It used to be double-sided. There were props on this side and this side, and they had like a center area where you could walk through. I'm gonna show you a photo of what I'm talking about. You can see a promotional billboard up there for the Ghostbusters show. And you can see the walkway, and that was right here. It's now the home to Jimmy Fallon, but that was where the Ghostbusters Spooktacular was for many years. But you can come out here on any given day and see all kinds of props. See, there's Bruce the Shark. I believe that was from Jaws 4, The Revenge. Just hanging out. And rumor is people would come up and actually steal the teeth of Bruce, the great white shark. This is why we can't have nice things, guys. But that was right here in this area. So Bruce, where are you, pal? You used to sit here. But now this is the plaza area. They have concerts here for Mardi Gras, and they have Christmas stuff every year for Grinchmas, and a lot of stuff on that stage. You can see Mannheim Steamroller doing Grinchmas. And it's also the place where you can just watch Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket all day. But I've seen so many people on that stage. Like I saw Jimmy Fallon there, I saw Jimmy Buffett on that stage. I saw Huey Lewis in the News, Weezer, Fall Out Boy. I've seen a lot of folks on that stage. Now when the studios first opened, this was an actual real running studio. It still is from time to time, but back then it was way more active. And they would give tours back here, the theatrical and television production facilities. There was so much happening back here. Nickelodeon was back here. So many films were being shot here. And they also had a tram tour. That's right, you could hop on a tram and get a full tour of the studios, just like the sister park out in Hollywood, California. And I got a photo to prove it. Yeah, you can see the New York Public Library in the background and the tram making a left-hand turn. Right here is where that was. It was a full tour guide, and it's pretty cool. Sometimes the characters would come up and talk to you. Oh yeah, and by the way, in 1993, you could have seen some Marvel superheroes over here at Universal Studios Florida. They did a huge stunt show right here. I did a whole video on it. If you want to learn more about that history, click the link, check it out, see what you think. It's kind of weird, but it made the list. But I already did a video diving deep into that history, so check it out if you haven't seen it. Did you guys know at one point you could have met the Nutty Professor, Sherman Klump? It's a true story. In fact, there's been a whole bunch of characters around here that you could have met back in the day that you probably wouldn't believe. Now, this is the tram tour from Universal Studios Hollywood. In this photo, you can see Doc Brown and Sherman Klump. Now, I could not find a photo of Sherman Klump hanging out here at Universal Studios Florida, but at least you can see what he looked like costume-wise. Now, I know Beetlejuice still meets here, but would you believe this was Beetlejuice when they first started? He had like a whole new look. Hawaiian shirt, and I don't know. It's just kind of weird to see the original Beetlejuice here, and he was standing right here in front of this step. They did a whole Ghostbusters show here with Beetlejuice, and they used this, it's an apartment, I think, or a hotel, but I think it's an apartment. But no, Priscilla Hotel. It's totally a hotel. And they did a complete Ghostbusters show here. In fact, here's the Ectomobile, the Ecto-1, after the show on this street right here, heading towards King Kong at the time. But right there is where they did the Ghostbusters Beetlejuice show. Weird, right? Hey, thanks to DisneyFans.com for this photo. This is the Islands of Adventure Preview Center that was at the Paramount Theater, which is the Paradise Theater here at Universal. It's based on the Paramount Theater out in New York. But nonetheless, it opened in 1999, Islands of Adventure did. But in 1998, they made this building right here, the Preview Center, and it was open for 4 years. Like after Islands of Adventure opened, but it was a preview center, showed you like miniatures and what was to come to that brand new theme park that was gonna take away, ultimately, the parking lot that I was talking about at the beginning of this video and put in City Walk. Weird, right? Can anybody tell me what this building was used for before the Islands of Adventure Preview Center? I'll give you a hint. Yeah. And at one point you could have met Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. And Rocky and Bullwinkle, Boris and Natasha had a show here, and they drove a plane to their show, and that's them right here on Delancey Street. They had that whole entire airplane right here. And they would drive to what is now Transformers the Ride 3D, but back in the day, this was a lot of different things, but there was a show right here for Rocky and Bullwinkle. And right up in this window on the backhand side, there used to be a Boris animatronic. And he would come busting out of this window, and I can still show you where the window was and the speaker, and I think the fog, like the fog would bust out of this thing. I'll show you. Right there, in the middle. That's where he would bust out of, and then right below it, check out that, like, I don't know if that's a speaker or like a ventilation system for the fog, the smoke, because he busted right through there. Yeah, the building behind me has been completely redone. They bulldozed the original building, which was Murder, She Wrote, post-production, and then it turned into Xena and Hercules. And the building just was used for so many different things back in the day, and then they just bulldozed it, changed it, and now we know it as Transformers. But I'll show you where they opened Xena and Hercules with Tom Williams. Yeah, you can see the actors right here with Tom Williams, and even the characters behind them. And this was where that was. That whole building's gone, man. All of it. But Murder, She Wrote was there, Xena and Hercules were there. It's been used for quite a bit of different things, but now it's with Optimus Prime, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, back in the day. Isn't that crazy? An entire experience based on a TV show. And speaking of shows, one of my favorite shows here on property is the Universal Orlando Horror Makeup Show. Now, back in the day, this was the Phantom of the Opera. This also the gory, gruesome, and grotesque horror makeup show. It's had a lot of different names here, but here's what it looked like when it was the Phantom of the Opera makeup show. And they actually had a show on the inside, a little pre-show with the Phantom himself. Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him.
Most, babe.
I love him to death. I didn't even have to say your name 3 times. It was a miracle.
No, somebody covered that for you.
Oh.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good to see you, BJ.
Oh, gee, I wish I could say the same.
Take care.
Sure, friend. Sure.
Favorite dead guy right there. So if you head into this very dark theater, the horror makeup show, there's a lot of cool things in here. You can see Ben Gardner's face right here from Jaws. You can see a velociraptor. Oh my gosh. Get right up in there. right up in that mouth. Also, they pay tribute to Halloween 2 here, even though that's not the correct mask. Sorry, just a big stickler on that. But it's nice to see the sequel to John Carpenter's classic. And some of our favorite friends from Halloween Horror Nights. But back in the day, this whole place was completely different as far as an experience goes. This chandelier right here would start shaking. And then there's a statue right over here of the Phantom of the Opera himself. Now, he used to sit right in the middle underneath that chandelier. He was right there. But this is the same statue that's been here since I was a kid. It's incredible. You can see him right there in the chandelier. Awesome, right? So awesome. Yeah, they're right here. There's the, I'll explain that curtain in just a second, but there's the chandelier. And right around here was where he was standing. Now, this right here was a stage. Behind that TV, the Phantom would bust through the curtain there and give a whole speech about how these were the secrets of the past, and these secrets are for you and no other. But he was willing to tell you some of the secrets of Hollywood's makeup. And then he would reveal himself, where he would turn around and vanish right there in front of everyone. And while this was all going on, the lights in here would flicker and that chandelier would shake back and forth, totally setting the tone. Who is this? Hello, Betty.
I know you got me and you got her.
That's right. I didn't see you over here. You're hiding out in the shadows.
I know. You're
You gonna-
surprising everybody.
I just saw the dead guy.
The dead guy?
I can't say his name.
Which, 3 times, right?
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
That guy.
It's good to see you, though.
Good to see you.
You're drawn lovely today. It's
Thank
wonderful. So if you're in the park, all the characters, for the most part, hang out here in Hollywood. Hollywood Boulevard, Scooby Gang, Betty, Marilyn Monroe, Simpsons, Beetlejuice will roam through. Oh my gosh, like total squirrel moment. I wanted to show you guys something in here. So my buddy Mike and I always talk about how this store used to have Frankenstein somewhere in it, just like this, but he was somewhere else in this store. Well, I found a photograph. This has been completely redone, but he was basically right up here. You can see how he was up on a little ledge there, and below him were the doors. And he was right around here. This has been completely redone, I think, after Terminator. But yeah, you could have met the monster. Well, taking a photo with him, and I'm still glad he's here to this day. Yeah, totally walked by the store and was like, oh, squirrel. Had to show you guys that. All right, on to my next spot. And someone by the name of Naughty Dog posted this photograph of Crash Bandicoot. That's right, Crash Bandicoot used to be here, and he was meeting here on Hollywood. Another weird meet and greet, right? Universal was really promoting that video game at the time. What you can see is what's left of Kid Zone, but yeah, when this place first opened, they had a replica of the Psycho house in Bates Motel from Psycho 4, the beginning. That was where they built it, out here for that film, instead of filming out at Universal Studios Hollywood, where they had the original Bates Motel and Psycho house. They decided to bring Norman and Mom out here to sunny Florida to help promote the mark and shoot a movie here. Why not? They used that house for different Halloween Horror Nights events. And then it turned into Kid Zone, and now it's turning into something completely different, but weird, right? Norman Bates used to hang out right over here next to E.T. And I'm sure we're gonna see some more weird history as the years go by here at Universal Studios. I'm also gonna be digging up some more weird history to show you guys here inside this park and next door to Islands of Adventure. But we came, we saw, we took care of business here today at Universal Studios, Florida. This was a lot of fun. But I think it's time to say goodbye. If you enjoyed this episode, please click that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.